So hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me to the school. And as you can see, I'm here to introduce you to this story, which is actually the beginning of a much bigger story. So this is just the first. This is the prelude to a longer tale, which is called A Tale of Serendipity, The Adventure Begins. And I don't want to talk too much about what I do in my everyday life, but I thought, hey, but I thought I would just say just a little bit, just kind of boil it down to the essence. Because no matter what I do, whether I'm writing a book or I'm teaching a class or I'm helping moms blossom or I'm doing work in my counseling practice, I'm helping people feel like it is absolutely okay to be who they are. And not just to be who they are, but to trust their own impulses and to express who they are. And one thing that I discover over and over again, and I want everyone to listen to this because I think this is a really important little gold nugget in this world of ours, is that often those places inside of us that we feel like we have to hide from the world or we feel a little bit embarrassed about, or we think, God, this is what makes us a little bit different from everybody else, those are often those places in us that are biggest gifts. It's where they live, and that's what we really need to share. So are you ready to get started? Yeah. Okay. So I just have a question for everybody, and that is, how many people here think that animals can communicate? Me too. I'm so glad that you're saying that. I really, really believe that that's true. And as you can see, this story is about a family of seals. And it's going to be about lots of different animals, too. We've got dolphins in this one, and later there's going to be all other kinds of animals. But I thought I would share a little bit about how seals communicate. Would you like to hear about that? Because I wrote a little bit about that in the book. Seals do not communicate like we do. The fact that you rarely see seals competing in spelling bees, however, does not mean they have no worthy language of their own. In fact, they have an extremely efficient and colorful language, one with great nuance and depth. Seals communicate with their whole bodies. I thought it would be fun, before I read more from the book, if I got a little bit of a sense of who here might relate to the actual characters in this story. Okay, now this one is the hardest. Not everybody can do this. You have to really concentrate. Some of you may have to stand up for this. But this is how to say the name Rut in official seal language in this particular culture. Okay? So this requires a gusto-filled belly jiggle. Okay, so you got to jiggle your belly, and you got to smack your bottom. Okay, this is how Rut says his name. Okay, ready? So stand up if you need to. You got to, fill the space. Okay, so I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and everybody jiggle your belly and smack your bottom, and you will be saying Rut in their official language. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Very good. You guys are naturals. Okay, so stay standing up. Are you ready for the next question? Yeah. Are you ready? Okay. Anybody here ever gotten lost in a daydream? Okay, stand up. Stand up if this is you. Oh, you really feel that one. I can see that. Like, yeah. Okay, ready? Anybody here, and don't tell me what it is, but anybody here have a secret fantasy or wish? Oh, I love it. That's so important. This is good for the world. Okay, well, now that you're standing, now that you have something in common, you want to learn how to say rough in official seal language? Are you ready? All right. Okay, well, if you don't want to, you don't have to, but this is optional. Okay, so you need to, do something to make sure you have whiskers. So you have finger whiskers. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to curl our whiskers and our hind flippers at the same time. Okay? So 1, 2, 3. Whoosh. That's it. That's how to say rough. Very good. Anybody here like to stand out in a crowd? Oh, good. Very good. This is a spunky group we've got here. Okay, so while you're up, you want to know how to say wreck? This is a tough one. Okay, all right. This requires a vigorous head roll. You got to roll your head like this. And you got to slap your tummy in a way that shows that you're really proud. Okay? Okay, ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Okay. All right. You can sit down. You can sit down now. Rut, out of the utmost respect, cleared his throat and initiated a formal seal introduction. He began by introducing himself, doing his best to pronounce his name the way his father preferred, with a gusto-filled belly jiggle and smack to the bottom. When he was done, he turned to Ruff, who swam forward with a simultaneous whisker hind flipper curl. Ruff then turned to Raoul, who let out a loud bark and shoulder shimmy, and Raoul turned to Rec, who presented with a vigorous head roll and a proud tummy slap. Finally, Rec turned to Rupp, who did his best to swim around in circles while wiggling his ear holes. As the seals made themselves known, the dolphins floated with long mouths agape. And when the pups were finished, they looked at each other in absolute wonderment and then erupted into applause. Why, that was the most unusual, most stunning introduction I've ever seen. Bridging painted the reason seal's cheeks pink with his words. And once the other dolphins' clapping died down, he asked, "Now what, may I ask, brings such a fantastic group of seals like you to a lagoon like this?"